religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Everyone has a story. Everyone has pain. When we strip away our masks, we find that we're really all the same. It's those little things we say and do that can mean so much. It's a smile, a connection, a simple love and touch. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling. It lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Every day. Today I'm gonna ask myself, what more can I do? What can I do now? To be a radiant child of God and let my love shine through. I'm gonna let my heart be my guide to give the best of me. I'm gonna share my joy, share my love, give it boundlessly. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Yeah. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Then Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. She said, Jack, tell me, what can I do to help ease your mind? He said, hold my hand and just be kind, and I know I'll be fine. Religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling. Live deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness. My religion is kindness. My church is nature. My God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Every day. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Every day. My religion is kindness, and I'm gonna practice it every day.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Ken, yes. It was just a misprint on the Daily Word. It's you. You're on.
One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. shout. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life, one life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one life, one love. One love, one life, one life, one love. All right, all right. One life, one life, one life, one love. One life, one life, one life, one love. One love, one life, one life, one love.
Break it down.
Yeah.
One life, one life, one love. God is all there is.
Keep on shining, shining, shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, happy, happy. I just wanna shout.
Good morning, everybody. Join us in song this morning. Welcome to Unity of Metairie. Life is so good, y'all. You guys get some mics up here and sing with us. Come on. Give us those lyrics. Every day I'm so thankful, grateful. Oh, it's a new day on the horizon. See all that I am, all I can be. Oh, it's just the gratitude shining through me. Nature's gift to me, the perfect place to be. I take the love in myself so I can see. There's only beauty in you, beauty in me. So let's stand together and let the whole world sing. So grateful, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful. My life is so good, yeah, precious and good. With every breath I take, with every step I take, it takes me higher on my path of awakening. See through the eyes of love, there's only one of us. So let's be grateful for all that's been given us. No need to live in fear, all of life is here. Come on and love and let the love come shining in. Smiling faces, warm embraces, all the songs stand up and let the whole world sing. So grateful, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful. My life is so good. I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful. My life is so good, so precious and good. So we welcome everybody to Unity of Metairie, a loving spiritual community that honors all spiritual paths, religions, and lifestyles. We believe that wherever we are, God is. And everybody watching us on Facebook today, welcome. We hope that you can feel the love that we experience in this space together. So let's fill our hearts with gratitude this morning as we are so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Yes, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Life is so good. Life is so good. Yeah, life is so good. Life is so good. So let's take a moment and say hello to your spiritual family with some hugs and handshakes. Welcome, everybody.
good morning. Let's go ahead and get in our last hugs and hello. My name is Shelley, and welcome to Unity of Metairie. Good morning. I'd like to introduce our ministry team today. Jack Fowler will be leading us in our message and music.
Good morning.
Inspiration. Ken Peterson will be delivering our daily word. First, I'd like to ask, are there any visitors that are joining us here today? We have one visitor. So nice that you could be with us. Two visitors, okay? We have a packet that we would like to give to you, and it's got some items in there that we think can help you in your spiritual journey. It's just a little gift from us to you. And we do have, if you'd like to stay on our mailing list, we have a sheet in there that you can complete, and then just drop it off at the front office. We'll be happy to tell you about the events and classes that we have going on. I'd also like to welcome those of you that are joining us on Facebook. Good morning. Hope that you're settling in this morning, that you've had a beautiful week, and this is a start to a really, really nice day. I'd like to ask the children to come forward, please.
Right, we got a nice group today.
Children and the pets.
Wow, Bear's getting so big, my goodness.
Good morning. Please join me in the children's blessing.
Children of light, we bless you. We see you loved, guided, and protected by God's presence.
And in New Orleans style,
We love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. All right.
Before you guys sit down, we have something for Bear. And as you know, Joan has been working really hard on building an online store, and we have some wonderful T-shirts. And this is one for Bear. It says, "Bless all creatures." So we need Bear to be well-dressed also.
Hey, Todd, bring my mic down just a little bit. Oh, fits perfectly. And he's letting her put him on him. My cats would tear me to shreds if I tried to put a shirt on them. Get a good picture, Bear. Smile. Show those teeth. Oh, he's smiling. Show those teeth.
You know, they rescued that dog. That dog was once in the cold a little bit, and now he has a wonderful home, and he's been blessed. And a T-shirt.
He's got his own wardrobe. My goodness, he's spoiled.
Just want to mention we also have a really good children's program. So if you want to bring your children or your grandchildren, we have a program where we will teach the children the same philosophy that we learn here, but we'll teach them in their own words and through activities that they can understand and carry with them for the rest of their life. Welcome again. Ken?
Morning, everybody. Today's daily word is comfort for Sunday, April 7th, 2019. Comfort. Immersed in God's presence, I find strength and comfort. As he journeyed toward Jerusalem and the experience of crucifixion, Jesus faced challenges from those who rejected his teachings. Even his disciples would leave him in his moment of greatest need. Jesus found strength and comfort in the awareness of God's presence that was always with him. I am not alone because the Father is with me, Jesus said. When I experience challenges, I remember that, like Jesus, I am never alone. I am God's living expression. In prayer, I center my thoughts and feelings in my divine identity. God's presence fills my awareness. No external condition or circumstance can have power over me. God awareness continues to grow within me as I return to my daily activities. The Bible verse for today is taken from Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 13. I will comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow.
Thank you, Ken. What beautiful words to begin our service. So let's just all take a deep breath, breathing in the present moment. As best you can, letting go of any other thoughts, ideas, the past, the future, leaving all that at the door and becoming here now.
bringing all of your scattered energy to this one place. For everything that you need is right here in this moment. I would ask you if you could go ahead and silence your cell phone or anything else that might make a noise as we move into a deeper time of sacred prayer and meditation. We know that we are in every moment exactly where we need to be. It is quite impossible to be somewhere where you shouldn't. There are no mistakes in the mind of God. We have been brought together this morning for a holy purpose, orchestrated by Spirit, knowing that this group of people in this space, in this time, will never, ever happen exactly like this. So this is a holy, sacred, and special time. As we recognize this, we feel gratitude that our life is good. May we become more aware of this every day. May we realize who we are as divine expressions of God, divine expressions of life. We are here together, right here, right now, in this holy instant. And the presence of God is with us, for it comes from within us. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. Right here, right now, we have come into the presence of God, and our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now, and our hearts are open. And our hearts are open to the love that's found right here, right now. There is one magnificent presence, one life, God the good. That presence is in each and every one of us. That presence is in all living things. And this morning we light our Christ candle as a representation of this presence that is found in all living beings, shown to us clearly by Jesus the Christ, by Buddha, by Krishna, by our spiritual masters that have shown us the way. This candle burns as a symbol of this oneness, of this sameness. For we know that within this light, there are countless lights in a prism. But as we look at it, we only see one. For in reality, there is only one of us in the room. We are forever connected. All part of a beautiful tapestry that is life. A beautiful tapestry that is God. And so as we enter into a deeper time of prayer and meditation, I would invite you to continue to relax in your chair, just feeling the love, the beautiful energy that is in this room. And if you're watching with us today online, find a quiet place to be. And also become relaxed and focused and centered wherever you are. For we realize that during our daily life, we easily forget that within us there is a power that is greater than anything in this world. There is a power that can heal any dis-ease, that can solve any problem. As we turn our focus outward, we see mostly chaos. We see mostly hurt. But within us, there is a presence that only knows love, that only knows peace, that only knows joy. It is the very presence of God. It is always there, patiently waiting for us to turn within. And that is why we take time during this service to collectively, as a community, turn our focus inward to see this light that is there, to see the love that is there. For in the stillness we find ourselves, we find God. So I'd invite you once again to relax. If you choose to, put both feet flat on the floor. Feel yourself supported by the chair. And begin consciously watching your breath. Breathing in deeply. Watching as oxygen comes into your body. And then as you exhale, continue to watch. Become the watcher of your breath. Using your breath as a place of focus, a mantra. If you become distracted or random thoughts appear, just simply bring your attention back to your breath. Realizing that there is a power within you that is so loving, so magnificent, that even while you sleep, it continues to breathe your lungs and beat your heart. That's how much you are loved. Breathing in the breath of God. Breathing in the love of God. Breathing in the peace of God. Allowing your body to completely surrender to this moment. Feel your shoulders gently drop, releasing tension. Allow your face to begin to soften. Pulling all of your energy here and now. And just as your body has relaxed, take a moment and look at your thoughts. See what thoughts may be there. Allow them to be without judgment. And gently begin to let your mind unwind and become still. Empty. Realize that you have the power, you have the choice for your mind to become empty and still and open. As we begin to listen to that still small voice that knows. For within you there is a wisdom. There is a power. There is a presence. Allow your mind to become silent and still. Begin to notice the space between your thoughts. For in this space there is a gap. This gap is the entryway into your true eternal self, Spirit. Who you really are created in the image and likeness of God. In the stillness, you find God. You find yourself. Continue to allow yourself to sink into the emptiness, into the stillness. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that all is well. And we take just a moment to listen to the silence, to the stillness, surrendering to the silence. And from this place of stillness, we only left with gratitude and thankfulness. That no matter what appears to be happening in our life, whatever the conditions of our life, our true self is forever held in the mind of God in perfection, in light. In this very moment, you are exactly as God created you, whole, perfect, and complete. And for this holy, sacred time together, we are grateful and say, thank you, God. And so it is. Good morning, everybody. So glad to see you and to be home after being away for a little bit. I missed you guys so much. When I'm away, somebody said this morning, oh, did you enjoy your vacation? I was actually working, if you call it that. I was speaking elsewhere, and I'm always looking at the clock when it's like 10:25 and 10:30. I'm like, I wonder what they're doing now. Wonder what's happening. But it is good to be home, and I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to see some new faces, and of course, our faithful regulars, so grateful to see you. And I've been really happy this week because I love the spring. Yeah, I think it's my favorite time of year. You just see things being renewed, and everybody seems happy and joyful. God, there's so many people in the quarter just happy and smiling. And anybody else like spring, or do you just can't stand it? Well, if you haven't been around a while, you know that after the spring, of course, we have our heat, and we'll be doing, once again, our heat affirmations to stay in gratitude, which I love doing those. They're so fun, where we affirm how much we love the heat and just turn it positive. Because you know what? I read today somewhere, I didn't see the city because I just glanced at it, but it said somewhere there is going to be a summer snow. I think it was in the Midwest somewhere. I mean, a spring snow, my bad, a spring snow. And I thought, isn't it nice that even in the middle of December and January, we don't have to go claw ice off of our windshield? You realize that's our payoff, right? We get hot and we get irritated some in the summer, and then comes the fall and the winter, and we don't have to deal with a bunch of snow or a bunch of freezing cold temperatures. But we will be having our heat affirmations, so be prepared for that. You know, the heat is good for us. It's good for your skin. It keeps you, well, no, it dehydrates you, I think. But my mom, who lived to be 92, said that she never had to use moisturizer because she grew up in the humidity. She say naturally moisturized. Excuse me. So today I'm talking about two things, but they are tied together. The title of the talk is actually The Art of Letting Go. And we talk about this a lot, and you hear me speak of this in some way or another a lot, because I've totally given up the thought that we need to be on a journey or we need to become something more than we are. We actually need to unbecome everything that we are not. We have been told a lot of false things about ourselves that we have just believed without even questioning. Isn't it crazy that so many things that we think about ourselves are things that someone else told us, and we believed it, we didn't even question it? You know, instead of saying, maybe a third grade teacher said like, oh, you shouldn't do that because dancers, they don't make any money. You need to go be an accountant or whatever. You don't need to seek your joy because, you know, all these things. This word starving artist, we hear that sometimes. And if you wanted to be a dancer, I'm just using that as an example, something in your little brain just kind of goes, okay, instead of questioning and going like, well, heck no, that's your idea, that's your opinion. But it's never too late to begin to let go of those things that we are not. Michelangelo, when he used to do sculpting, said, well, I didn't sculpt David. He said, I simply chiseled away all of the part of the marble that was not David until David was revealed. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are letting go of all those things that no longer serve us, all of those things that get in our way, all of those things that block us from having the life that we really want to have. I'm always amazed at the bravery of the Fillmores, Charles and Myrtle, who were the co-founders of Unity, when they took the brave stance in the 1800s and said this, which was pretty blasphemous at the time. Why do we go to church on Sunday and we hear all these beautiful lessons and we hear about all these things that happened thousands of years ago, but we get up on Monday and we really still have the same life that we had before? Now, that could be good or bad, I mean, you know, whatever it is. But if you're struggling with something, or you don't like your life, or you don't like your partner, or you don't like your work, why is it that we go to church on Sunday and we feel good and we have a potluck, which potlucks are fun, nothing wrong with potlucks. We have a lot of them around here. You guys know how to eat. Yet when we wake up on Monday, we really don't have any tools to change our life and to make our life better. That's what the question that the Fillmores asked in one form or another. I don't know if they really sat down and said those exact words, but that was the process that they went through. And they initially called Unity practical Christianity. And what that means is that, so we're going to do this experiment. We're going to actually try to put these ideas to work. And if they don't work, we're going to give them up, because why keep following an idea that doesn't work just because somebody hundreds of years ago said to do it? We're going to practice these things and see if they actually work. And hence, unity was first called practical Christianity. We make it practical. And in order to get to that point, they had to let go of all of their former beliefs. And they weren't spring chickens when this happened. And the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes if we continue ideas over and over and over again, it becomes harder to let them go. You guys have probably dragged around. I know there's a couple things I've dragged around for like 25 or 30 years. Can I get an amen? And then I think I'm done with it, and it comes up again, and I'm like, well, shoot, I thought I was already done with that. Have you ever experienced that before? Like, I've done so much work around this subject, and there it comes again, poking its ugly head up. And all that's doing, that's actually a good thing. It's like the engine on your car. We shouldn't get upset when the engine light comes on, which we do, because the engine light is actually our friend. It's telling us there's something wrong and you need to stop. And so when we're unhappy, that unhappiness can be our friend that says, you need to let go of some things that don't serve you in order to live a happier and more beautiful life. So the Fillmores just continue to amaze me that they were so brave to do this during a time that it's still not totally acceptable. You know, if you go online now, I don't know if you've ever done this, and you Google unity, about the third or fourth way down, it says cult. So like we still have a ways to go, you know. And the Fillmores, can you imagine back in the 1800s saying this? Because what they said was a question that's scary for us to ask. And that's why everyone in this room is a brave soul, because the question is this: maybe everything that I believed until now isn't true. That's a hard one. Because if your life isn't working, then something's not going right. You're not connecting the dots. So maybe it's a good thing that everything you've thought until now doesn't work. Because what I've learned in unity, which is so different from what I knew growing up about prayer, you know the reason that we call it affirmative prayer instead of just prayer? Do you know that unity uses those specific words, affirmative prayer? Well, the reason is, unless in case they ask us on Jeopardy and you're on there, is that the Fillmores taught that God has already given us everything. This magnificent presence has already given you everything you could possibly want. Just like a loving parent would give you everything that they had, their inheritance, their money, if they're nice, you know, and they're going to leave things for you just by nature of you being a part of them and being their child. And that's just how this presence that is God is with us. It's already given us everything by the nature of our creation, because we're an extension of God. So then if we don't have those things, where is the issue? Where's the issue? An affirmative prayer allows us to go deep within and affirm that what is already ours is there and available. And in order to get to that becomes the harder issue of letting go of what no longer serves us. Because no matter how situations have treated us, we feel really comfortable with what has gone before. There's studies that show that children, infants that have been abused by their mother, when they're finally taken away from their mother, finally, and they're given over to a warm, loving person that's going to foster them or take care of them, they still cry and hold their hands out to the abuser. And why is that? Because that's what they've known and that's what they're comfortable with. And in some ways, that's what we do. We're kind of addicted to the drama. We are. You know that you love the drama. When people say, like, I'm going to create a drama-free life, some people actually, their identity is cemented in the drama. And so it comes up like, oh my God, if I'm not, if there's no drama, who am I? How am I supposed to act? we had a funny conversation at the Wednesday night group. By the way, our Wednesday night discussion group at 7 p.m. we have every week, and we talk about some great stuff. We get really into the depth and the meat of some things. And we were talking about the concept of, and I knew a couple people that did this whenever HIV first came on the scene, and it was so tragic for so many people. And I said goodbye to many people. I stopped saying I lost; they didn't go anywhere, but we said goodbye to them in this form. And there were quite a few people that right in the cusp between having no drugs that really worked, and then in 1995 having these cocktails you may have heard about that really worked. All of a sudden you went from no hope to hope. And I knew at least 2 people that said, okay, well, it's time for me to go. There's no hope. There's nothing I'm going to do. It's time for you to die or make my transition, however you want to look at that. And so they went out, they ran up their credit cards, they bought stuff, they went on trips, they bought wardrobes. They said, if I'm only to be here a little bit, I might as well just, live it up. So they spent all this money. I knew one that did almost $100,000 in credit cards up in Nashville. And I said, well, what difference does it make? And then the cocktails came out. He started taking them, and he's like, oh, I got to pay all this back. Oh, my God. Shoot. Actually, I can't even really say exactly what he said as he realized, oh, my goodness. I'm gonna live. I got to pay this back. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just thought it was funny to talk about it. But it's about letting go. It's about letting go of those things that just don't do us good anymore. And we do them because we're comfortable. We do them because it's what we know. We do them because they're cemented in our mind into our subconscious. Because one of the things that we don't realize is that no matter how many times we write affirmations, which affirmations are good, they're a start. But if we wrote on this wall, I have $1 million in the bank, I have $1 million in the bank, and we wrote it 1,000,000 times on all these walls and wrote it on affirmation cards, pretty much, unless you already have $1 million in the bank, pretty much when you get up tomorrow, there's not going to be $1 million in there. And why? It's because most of our life is controlled by our subconscious, the deepest part of us that's holding our deepest beliefs and ideas about the nature of life and about the nature of God. Now, it's possible for you to have whatever you want. I mean, if that's a goal for you to have unlimited income, well, then that's, you can have that. That's what affirmative prayer is for, if that's what you want, if you're struggling with that. But it's more than just making a poster board and letting go that way. We have to be willing to go into the deepest part of our subconscious, and dig around in there and finally begin to release those things. And it's not pretty. I remember when I first started hearing about spiritual transformation and enlightenment, it sounded so cool. And I just imagined that if I went to a group, like Unity or Centers for Spiritual Living, or I went to, like a little study group, that it would be like me sitting like Buddha in a bed of roses, and like sniffing the roses and just singing. And la, 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 la. Heck no. What happened when I decided and I said, God, I really surrender. I really want the life that I was intended to have. All heck broke loose. I got so many cosmic 2x4s that I could hardly even stand up anymore. And you know what the cosmic 2x4 is, right? We won't go into that. I've gone over that many times. But just simply that when we don't listen to that little voice the very first time that says to do something, eventually we get the cosmic 2x4 and we get made to do it. We get fired from a job, or somebody dumps us or whatever. And it was so not fun, not good news to think, wow, I thought the spiritual enlightenment stuff was going to be fun. But it's not. It's worth it, but we have to be willing to go in there to the deepest, deepest parts. I know that there's still things within me that rise up from my childhood. As you all know, you hear me talk about it a lot. My parents were Pentecostal ministers. A full recovery is expected. And I have to say, I love my path. I love that they taught me what they taught me. It's all perfect. I didn't always feel this way. I was a little mad at first when I started realizing, wow, like I've been sold a bale of hay down the road. Some of this just doesn't make sense. But I got to the point of realizing that my spiritual path is perfect. However, I do realize that there are some things that were taught to me when I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old that still pop up every now and then. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Have you experienced this before? It takes a lot of work. I mean, that's why we call it spiritual practice, because it takes practice. It takes a commitment to do this path. I mean, sometimes I think it's easier just to be ignorant and just go on about my life, and I really don't want that. But, once we realize that there's work to be done, that's when we have to dig our heels in and say, if I really want my life to be what it's intended to be, I have to be willing to do the work. I have to be willing to do my spiritual practice. And whatever that is for you, there's no way that I can dictate that to you. You have to figure that out yourself. I'm still working on my book. It's been going on forever. And I actually probably have the whole book, but it's in all these different formats all over the place. Post-it notes, napkins, in my laptop, in my phone. And now I'm to the frustrating point about how do I corral all that information together? It was fun writing it, but corralling it together and editing. But anyway, I was reviewing part of it just to show how powerful our mind is. Some of you have heard this story, and it is a true story. This is not made up. I wanted to see movies when I was little, and we could not see movies. Now, fortunately, God has changed his mind. So now you can go see movies if you're part of those groups. That's a joke. God changed his mind. Do you not? God changes his mind a lot. It's always a him, and God changes his mind a lot. So what you could do in the 60s, you couldn't do. Now you can do. God had changed his mind. And like my sisters couldn't cut their hair. My sisters couldn't wear pants. We couldn't wear jewelry. We couldn't drink, of course. We couldn't go to the movies. There was this whole list of things. And me being a little creative kid, I wanted so bad to see a movie. And I remember this movie called Benji about this little dog came out. And I was so excited. I went to my dad thinking I could scam him. And I said, Dad, I was like, there's this movie about this little dog, and it's rated G, and it's at the theater, and it's about this little dog. And he said, son, that's what they do. They put out those kind of movies to finance their pornos. Couldn't argue with that logic. I didn't know. I didn't know about movies. And so no wonder I've needed so much therapy. It's kind of revealing. And so I'll never forget the day that I heard they were building a mall in my hometown. I grew up close to here in Mobile, Alabama. They were building a mall. And in that mall, there was going to be something called a multiplex, which is something I'd never heard of. And in the multiplex, there were going to be 12 movie theaters at the mall. My little brain started working, and I said, I could tell Mom I need to go buy some school clothes, that I need about 2 hours, because I've researched how long movies were. I'll need about 2 hours to buy some clothes, and you can come pick me up in a bit. So nothing wrong with dropping me off at the mall, which was very different from saying drop me off at the movie theater. I would have been banned. But, drop me off at the mall. I need a couple hours. I was so, it seems silly now, but you can imagine. I was, I think, 12 or 13 at this time, terrified. That's how scared I was, which shows that the world is what we make of it. We're scared of things because we've been told to be afraid of them. The world appears to us as we want it to be. And at that moment, a theater might as well have been the depths of hell, and I was about to meet Satan itself. And so there was this movie called The Evil that I wanted to see. Of course, I went way to the other side. I went from wanted to see Benji, I'm just going to rebel. I want to see The Evil. And The Evil was rated R. They wouldn't allow me to get a ticket. So I didn't understand about ratings and stuff. And I said, well, what can I see? And she said, well, you can see The Goodbye Girl. Remember The Goodbye Girl with Richard Dreyfuss and Marsha Mason, I think. So I was like, I'll take that ticket. So my little brain is working, And I get my little ticket. It was the afternoon, so not many people were there. I go past The Goodbye Girl. I don't see anybody around. And I go straight into The Evil. And I'm sitting there, and I'm horrified, and I'm sweating, and I'm squirming, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, if Jesus comes right now, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. And I was so upset. Well, the preview started, and the manager came in and said, well, hey, are you here with an adult? And I said, yeah, my mom is in the restroom. I lied. And I was so terrified, I thought he was going to go call the police. And then he came back later and said, is your mom still in the bathroom? And he said, let me see your ticket stub. And I really thought he was going to arrest me. That's how scared I was. I was like, I'm going to be arrested. He didn't arrest me, but he sent me to the movie that was printed on my ticket, which was The Lesser of the Two. So I'm in the Goodbye Girl watching, and I am so terrified. I cannot tell you how scared I was, shaking. I was even too scared to leave. I was paralyzed in my chair. And I was sitting here going, please, Jesus, don't come. Please, Jesus, don't come. Please, Jesus, don't come. Please, Jesus, don't come. And about that time, the film got stuck in the projector and the movie theater caught on fire. Back then, they had the old film, it was very flammable, you know, and it literally got stuck in there and it caught on fire and we had to evacuate the building and the fire trucks came. And I said, Jesus has come and I'm doomed. I'm going to face the Antichrist and be beheaded any moment now. And I went and sat in the bathroom for like 2 hours in Montgomery Ward. God, this brings back memories. And as we know, you know, everything turned out okay, but it was so traumatizing to me. And I tell that story, it is kind of a funny story now. I can laugh at it, but I still kind of sweat a little bit when I think about it. I tell that story because that shows how ingrained those ideas were inside of me that still come up and pop up. And I realize that's still things I have to work on and things that I have to let go of. And what's the best and easiest way to do that? Sometimes we don't even know. We have to ask for help and say, Spirit, I don't even know where to start. Give me some guidance. And when you do that and you do it sincerely, you'll start to notice that things show up for you. Someone may say, hey, you know, I've been reading this book. Why don't you check it out? And that's the very book you need. Or someone might say like, hey, I've been going to this place on Veterans Boulevard called Unity of Metairie. You should go there. I mean, what you need begins to show up. But we have to be willing to ask and we have to be willing to let go. And if we ask sincerely, I want to let go of all these false ideas. Sometimes we have to beware because, and beware is not the right word, we have to know that sometimes things have to fall apart in order to build something new and amazing. So it's a journey of unbecoming. It's a journey of letting go. And there is an art to this. Some of the ways that have worked for me, they may not work for you at all. But what have worked for me is that I do attempt to spend a lot of time during the day in the stillness and in the silence. And I do believe with the new kids that are coming up that seem a little more awake than maybe we were as children. And what I mean, they're just more aware of life and things around them. I do believe as time progresses, we won't have like a meditation on Wednesday night. We won't say, let's come to meditation together on Wednesday night. Our entire life will be spent in communion with the divine. Our life will become a meditation. Doesn't that sound awesome? And what that means is that instead of worrying and trusting in the things in the world, which all of this stuff is temporary and will disappear, all of it, everything you see, including your own body, is going to disappear. Why do we trust so much in that when there is an eternal wisdom within us that will guide us and show us what we need to do if we're willing to ask? And we most clearly hear that voice in the silence and in the stillness when we cut off the monkey chatter and all of the stuff that's running through there and that craziness that's just always going through our brain. That's when we can really hear. That's why in the scripture it says, listen for that still small voice. It's a small, still voice. It is the most powerful voice there is, but it's small and it's still and it will not force itself onto you. You have to be willing to listen. And we have to be committed to whatever it is. It's just like, I mean, I know this is a cliche example, but if you decided you wanted some muscles or you wanted, you know, your butt to look better or whatever you wanted to do, and you went to the gym, if you went there one day, you're not going to really see a difference. But if you commit to it and you go every day and you go a week and you go a month and then 2 months passes, eventually you're going to walk by the mirror one morning on your way to your coffee or your tea and go, I'm looking pretty good. It's the same thing with our spiritual practice. And this is not to judge you if you're not doing a spiritual practice. It's to encourage you to do it because it is so worth it. You know, the monks have told us that we should meditate for 30 minutes a day. If we don't have time to, we should meditate for an hour. Think about that. And that can be whatever it is for you. It doesn't have to mean just sitting still. But we have to commit to it. And I promise you, because this has been the experience of my life, is that if you commit to letting go and commit to asking, what do I need to do to let go of all these old ideas, it will be shown to you. But you have to be willing to commit and not just say one day, hey, I want to let go of all of my unconscious and subconscious beliefs, and then you expect something to happen in that one day. It's probably not going to happen unless you have some kind of superpower like the Marvel Comics or something. I mean, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some practice, but it's well worth it. And the results are completely related to how much work that you do. How much are you willing to let go? And, you know, it may be, there's so many great things. You know, hypnotherapy is good. You know, David and Tony do some of that over here. You may be guided to go do that. Or you may be guided to go get Reiki healing or whatever it is. You may be guided to go to Sedona and lay naked in the desert. Now, if you do that, make sure you're not anywhere near the police. But don't tell them I said to do that. But whatever it is, you get the picture. And it's going to be different for all of us. But we have to be willing to let go. There is an art to it. And how much are we willing to practice that art? The funny thing is, that little part of the talk was only supposed to be about 10 minutes, and I got so inspired, so we got to save the rest to last. Isn't it good to know that within all of us, there's a power. There's the ability to change anything in our life. There's a place within us where nothing is impossible. There's a place within you where any dis-ease can be healed. Any financial situations can be cured. Relationships can be made whole. And that's why we are here. That's why we have this building. That's why we're sitting in these chairs this morning, is because there are people in this area and beyond, and maybe someone watching us today that have never heard this message. I believe this is the good news. This is the good news. You don't have to be stuck in the life that you have because you're the creator of it. And so can you uncreate it and let go and create something new? I think that's cool. I think that that's awesome. I think that's what gives me hope. I know that's what gives me hope during the day if things aren't exactly going right. There's nothing better than having that great sense of hope, even when you're not feeling your best, and even when things and the circumstances of your life aren't going exactly like you would want them to. There is the great hope. And we begin that by letting go. Trusting in the guidance of Spirit. Trusting in this very presence that created you in its image, with all of its power and all of its love and all of its magnificence. It is who you are. And what I know for all of us this morning, whether we're in this room or if watching online, we have this power, God the good, within us. It is always there. We can sometimes try to turn down the volume of it to where we can hardly feel it, but there is no way to eliminate this presence from within us. The reason is you are this presence. You are this life. You are the very presence of God in this world. You are the hands and feet and voice of the divine. And so what I want and wish for all of you, including myself, is that I truly let go of these things that are blocking me from my divine inheritance. God has already given everything to me. Anything that I would want, everything that I would desire, and all the desires of my heart are mine because I've inherited them. That's how Myrtle Fillmore healed herself of tuberculosis and other ailments. She latched onto this idea. I am a holy child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. What a powerful, powerful statement. As she let go of those false thoughts about herself, her body came into conformity with her new thoughts. And so we are grateful for this time together, knowing that we are loved, we are always guided, we are always protected, held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. You are the beloved, holy child of God. This is the truth about you, and this is the truth about me. And so it is. Amen and amen and amen. And so we breathe in this love and this presence that we feel from each other. As we come to the point in our service where we give, where we've been spiritually fed. And no matter what is happening with our finances, whatever is happening in the business of the church, I know that the heart of who we are, that unity of Metairie is a great idea in the mind of God. We are here for holy purpose in service to those not just in this area, but to everyone that will ever watch us online. We are a great idea in the mind of God, and we are abundant. And we claim that this morning. We give with gratefulness, knowing that as we give, it returns to us multiplied. That is the law of the universe. That is the flow of the universe. As we give, it is given to us. And so this morning, we bring our tithes and offering forward, dropping them in the basket, taking an affirmation with you. If you would prefer to pay electronically with a credit or debit card, you can meet Joan out in the Welcome Center where you came in. She's happy to take that from you there. And for everyone watching us today, we appreciate all the continued support financially that we get from you. Thank you so much. And if you're watching today and would like to support our ministry of co-creating a world that works for everyone, you can simply look at the post below the post you're watching. Right below this video, and you'll see a link there where you can securely and easily give with credit cards, debit cards, or PayPal account. And we thank you so much for supporting us. And we encourage you, if you're watching, to sing along with us this morning as we affirm that we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have, as we actively bring forth our offering this morning in faith, affirming our prosperity and goodness. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all. And if you'd prefer to have someone meet you at your chair, just simply raise your hand and Ken can meet you. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Prefer to stay seated, just simply raise your hand. As we continue to sing, we are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so so blessed. Once again, I am so blessed. so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And thank you, everyone that gives to support our spiritual community, whether it be through our tithes and offering, through volunteering, through all the work that has to be done to keep us rolling. Thank you, everybody. It's been so good to be home today and be home for a stretch here in April. So thank you all for joining us. It's been such an awesome day, and thank you for giving to support us. So just a few announcements. First of all, we have our quarterly town hall meeting today, immediately following the service. That includes our monthly board meeting. Everyone is invited to attend. All are welcome. We're doing our quarterly meeting because 2 years ago at our annual meeting, many people expressed, we only hear all this information once a year. We want to know what's going on with the church, which is a great request to know that people were that interested. And so we started this where every quarter, one of our board meetings is a quarterly town hall where you can bring questions, you can listen, look at the finances of the church. We're an open book. Everyone is welcome to see what we're doing, where all of our money goes. And so if you'd like to be part of that process, you can join us today. Like I said, immediately after the service, we'll take a moment to say hello to everyone and meet. And like I said, everyone is welcome. So this is, as you know, the Easter season. This is spring. Easter's so late this year. It kind of already feels like it's over. I was at the store and I saw Easter eggs out, and I was like, we just had Easter. And I was like, no, we haven't. It's later. So please join us the next few Sundays. We got special things going on. Next Sunday is Palm Sunday, and we have a special service for that. And of course, our Easter service will be a special service and a talk on the metaphysics of Easter and what the crucifixion and resurrection actually means to us and how we can practically use it in our life. And part of that is letting go. Burying all those things that no longer serve us and resurrecting what the vision that God has for us and seeing us in that way. So please join us. It's a great time to also bring friends to come along and see what we're all about. So we'd invite you to join us. Now, part of that, our tradition for that, is that we have these beautiful Easter lilies that we'll be putting out in the next few weeks. If you would like to get one of these lilies that you can take home with you in honor or memory of a loved one, there's a sign-up sheet out in the Welcome Center. It's just $15, and for that, you will have the Easter lily, and on that day, on Easter Sunday, we will have a special bulletin with the names printed in. So if you have someone you'd like to honor that has made their transition or in memory of, or just someone that's still with us that you'd like to honor, this is such a beautiful service and tradition that we have. So get signed up for that, and you can, as I said, sign up for that in the Welcome Center, and we will have some of the lilies here next week for Palm Sunday, and then all of them for Easter Sunday. So be a part of this beautiful ritual and this beautiful process that we have, and honor or memorialize someone. As I mentioned earlier, Wednesday night is our night where we once again come together as a community. At 6 o'clock, we have a community meditation for an hour. Just come and be with us in the stillness with music and guided words. And then after that, we have a spiritual discussion based on A Course in Miracles. But you can bring anything to the table. And this has been such a feisty, wonderful group of spiritual seekers that come together. And that's at 7 p.m. On Wednesday night as well. Trying to think, we continue to give to Second Harvest Food Bank. So anything, if you're at the grocery store, pick up some soup, pick up some lasagna, pick up some pasta, anything, bring that. And at the end of April, we'll be taking that to Second Harvest Food Bank, which does such an awesome job feeding those that are hungry within our area. We do have our daily words available still for March and April. We have just a few, and that's a daily dose of inspiration that you can read to get your day rolling. Those are just $5 and available out in the Welcome Center as well. Continue to tell people to like and follow us on Facebook. Our online tribe continues to grow, and we're having up to the hundreds that watch our service. So we thank you, everybody on Facebook. Let's give them a hand. Can you hear all that clapping? Yay! We really, really do love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. And I think anything else anyone can remind me of? I'm just I think that's about everything, and that's plenty, I would say. Like I said, this is the Easter season, so please join us, especially the next couple of Sundays, and do plan to join us for our Easter service and for our board meeting and town hall meeting today. So after the town hall meeting, there may be some people that want to go to lunch together. Anybody want to throw out a name? Oh, okay. So should they see you, Sue? So lunch bunch will happen in this room, and we might Uber it or order it or whatever. So see Sue, who's sitting right here. And if you want to get some takeout and have some food during the board meeting, or if you just want to sit around and eat, let her know. So everyone is welcome to stay with us. So we're going to close out our service once again affirming that this presence of God is in everything. This life of God is in everything, and all living creatures. And this song affirms that. I see God in everything. Come on and join me, singers.
I see joy, I see peace, I see goodness surrounding me. I see love in every breath I breathe. I see God. I see happiness, I see freedom. I see the beauty that lives in me. I see perfection in what life brings. I see God in everything.
Now we feel.
I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel goodness surrounding me. I feel love in every breath I breathe. I feel God in everything. I feel happiness, I feel freedom. I feel the beauty that lives in me. I feel perfection in what life brings. I feel God in everything.
All right, this next one is one of the most important as we choose. It's always our choice. Here we go.
I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose goodness surrounding me. I choose love in every breath I breathe. I choose God in everything. I choose happiness, I choose freedom. I choose the beauty that lives in me. I choose perfection in what life brings. I choose God in everything.
Now we know.
I know joy, I know peace. I know goodness surrounding me. I know love in every breath I breathe. I know God in everything. I know happiness, I know freedom. I know the beauty that lives in me. I know perfection in what life brings. I know God in everything. Yes, I know God's in everything. Namaste, 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 namaste.
The God in me honors and adores the God in you. Hey, everybody. And one more thing I was going to mention. Joan, she hates to come up front, but will you come show your shirt? Just a quick little fashion show. So look at these beautiful shirts that Joan has put together available in our store. And look at the back. Look at the back. Ooh. There's all kind of sayings. We even have, we love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. So see Joan if you'd like to get one of these shirts or coffee mug with these awesome sayings. So let's say our prayer of protection together. The light
of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Stay and join us, y'all. Have a great afternoon.